Shining, shining like a diamond. I see people watching. Perfect, hourglass timing. Good things come to those who wait.
Hey guys, I'm an illustrator and this is Baek Sketch. You're watching Fashion Runway Illustrated, a series on YouTube where I draw my favorite looks from a collection and talk about the brand's history. In this video, we're diving into Jacquemus Fall Winter 2020 collection. Let's get into it. This is the story of Porte Jacquemus, the designer of Jacquemus. Simone was born in 1990 into a family of farmers in Salon-de-Provence, France, and grew up in a neighboring town 20 minutes away called Malmont. Located in the south of France, Marseille is the closest city to these towns. Simone's curiosity in fashion took shape during his childhood. When Simone was 7, he made his first piece of clothing for his mom, a dress made out of beige linen curtains. His mom proudly wore it the next day when taking him to school. He also reminisced in a Sense interview that he wanted to be a priest, then wanted to be in the military, and eventually become a lawyer. This wasn't because he liked the actual occupations, but because he was obsessed with the uniforms they wore. In 2008, right after high school when he turned 18, Simone moved to Paris to study fashion at Is Mode, a private fashion school that has graduates of names you might recognize, like Reem Acra of Reem Acra, Olivier Rousteing of Bomba, and Frank Sobier of Thierry Mugler. However, after a month in school, his mother sadly passed away in a car accident at the young age of 42, causing Simone to reevaluate his entire life, as his mom had been his biggest support and muse. He's quoted in the Cut article describing her death saying, "It was a huge shock. It is the shock of my life. I said to myself, Simone, don't waste any time. I became obsessed with time. Do everything you can today." Following his obsession with time, after a couple of months, Simone dropped out to launch his own label and named the label Jacquemus, after his mother's maiden name. His mom remains a constant source of inspiration for him to this day. It's also the reason why he goes by Porte Jacquemus instead of just Simone Porte. To start his brand, Simone did several things. He bought fabrics, used a pattern maker, found a press person, set up his website, and found ways to sell in boutiques. Simone didn't know a lot about the things mentioned, but figured them out as he went along, which I personally think is the best way to learn how to do things. To jumpstart his career in fashion, and to finance his brand, Simone did two things. He worked in retail at the Comme des Garçons store in Paris, and he later won 150,000 euros from the special jury prize given by LVMH in 2015. Though Simone never had the full experience of fashion school, he took this opportunity to learn about fashion. He told Marie Claire in 2017 about his experience working at the Comme des Garçons store. "It taught me about clothes and how to be sure of who you are, treat your people, and approach your customer." As a casual observer of Jacquemus, I personally think Simone's ability to picture exactly who his customer is and how to attract attention on social media plays a pivotal role in his success as a businessman. It's exemplified by his ability to create several viral sensations. If you've been on Instagram in the past few years, you've likely seen designs of Jacquemus. You may have seen his sensational Spring-Summer 2020 collection last summer in 2019. He sent models down a long, winding fuchsia carpet in a field of lavender in Provence, France. I'd describe his designs as having a nice mix of being polished, sexy, and carefree at the same time. Simone described his brand to Dazed magazine in 2016. Jacquemus is not about nightlife and clubbing and things like that. It's more like fruit and vegetables and rolling in the grass. While there are designers who are more focused on the art of fashion, Simone says he is in the business of fashion. He described fashion as a poetry to Interview magazine in 2016. He said, "Fashion is a way to tell a story, to say something in this world because you always send a message with what you wear. Yet, fashion is also business. I sell poetry. For me, there is no point in fashion if you don't sell." Simone's answer to help sales is to be distinguishing and relatable at the same time. For example, oftentimes, clothes on runways will be stylized in a way that doesn't fit into everyday life. However, Simone styles his runway shows so that what people see is what they get. Simone's ability to influence fashion has also caused some controversies. There are 3 worth mentioning. The first controversy is his first collection from Fall Winter 2015 that looked very similar to Schiaparelli's motifs. Outlines of hands is an iconic symbol of Elsa Schiaparelli's career. She's an Italian designer who was a prominent figure between the 2 world wars from 1910s to the 1940s. She closed her couture house in 1954. So you're probably thinking, why hands? Well, her designs were heavily influenced by surrealism. Think of Salvador Dali, the famous guy who painted melting clocks. Here are some Schiaparelli designs with the hand motifs: a belt with hands, a brooch, gloves emphasized with manicures and gold fins, and a hand hat. Diego Delle Valle from Todd's, which I've done a video on and have it linked right here, bought and revived the Schiaparelli house in 2013. They paid an homage to her iconic hand motif for their spring 2015 couture collection. Here are some images of Jacquemus's 2015 collection. This isn't the first and won't be the last to draw inspiration from the hand idea. For example, Comme des Garçons did it for their Fall-Winter 2007 collection, Jean-Charles de Castelbajac did it in 1984, Lady Gaga wore one by Castelbajac in 2013, and Martin Margiela did it for Spring-Summer 2001. What do you guys think? Are these designers all copying or taking inspiration? How far is too far? Next up, we have HatGate. This is the controversy over the La Bomba oversized straw hat. There are 2 parts to this. The first part is that Simone had designed a huge floppy straw hat for his La Bomba Spring 2018 collection, and then, to promote it, he posted a picture of Bella Hadid on his Instagram. Problem was that the hat that Bella was wearing in the picture was actually not his, but of a different brand named Olmos y Flores. The photo was from a photo shoot taken for Vogue Mexico, and Vogue confirmed that the hat was indeed by Olmos y Flores. The hats were similar enough that Simone thought the hat was his. However, here's where the second part comes in. The reason why this mistake really blew up was because it was posted on an Instagram account named DietPrada. DietPrada called out Jacquemus for falsely taking credit for the hat in the picture. For those of you who don't know, DietPrada is an account run by 2 opinionated people who like to post about fashion historical references, make fun of bad designs, expose when other designers copy other designers, and call people out when they see unfair treatment or harassment in the fashion and entertainment industry. Sometimes, their references can be a bit of a stretch, but I do find it informative and entertaining. Anyway, Jacquemus stans defended Simone, saying it was Simone who was able to trend the overly big statement hats, while DietPrada was saying that, number one, the hat in the picture is not his, and that, number two, he was not original for thinking that he came up with the idea. As DietPrada pointed out, if you look back in history, there are many designers who have done oversized straw hats before the one by Simone in 2018, such as John Miranda in 2003, Christian Dior by Gianfranco Ferré in 1992, Jean-Charles de Castelbajac in 1991, unknown designer worn by Brigitte Bardot in the 1950s, Elsa Schiaparelli in 1949, and another unknown designer worn by a random girl in the early 1900s. Needless to say, the conclusion here is that the hat worn in the picture of Bella Hadid was by a different designer, and Jacquemus isn't the first person to think of a humongous hat. But I do give him credit for making a splash and having it trend on Instagram in 2018. Again, what do you guys think? Where do you draw the line for inspiration? Finally, the last controversy is one of the most PR-frenzied design by Jacquemus. The Chiquito Bag caught the attention of the fashion world for being small, but what really made it more amusing was the even smaller version called the Le Petit Chiquito Bag. It's about 2 inches instead of 4.5 inches long, or about 5 centimeters instead of 11.4 centimeters long. The Le Petit Chiquito Bag is so small that it can hold only one of these things: a single AirPod, single AAA battery, a small conveniently shaped lip balm, strategically folded dollar bill, or 23 Tic Tacs. But the controversy isn't because of its size. DietPrada accused Simone for throwing shade at Valentino on Instagram. Lizzo showed up to the American Music Awards in November 2019 holding a tiny bag. Her bag was a collaboration between Valentino and Obvious Plant. Obvious Plant was founded by Jeff Wysocki, who makes fake toys that are humorous. He's like the troll of toys. He makes up funny signs and fake products that he leaves amongst all the real toys in stores. When Simone saw the picture of Lizzo holding the tiny Valentino bag, he left a comment of a magnifying glass. DietPrada speculated that Simone was trying to say that the micro bags were his thing, but they pointed out that other brands have done versions of the micro bag before him, such as Coach, Louis Vuitton, Chanel, Balenciaga, and Fendi. In my opinion, there is no bad publicity in show business when it comes to controversies like this. At the time of the making of this video, there are a ton of news articles talking about the Chiquito bag. It seems like one thing is clear. Simone has the ability to sell fashion to fashionistas. While the Jacquemus accessories have caused a big splash and have contributed to the tiny handbag and huge hat moment, the Jacquemus brand originally started off in women's wear. So let's talk about the collection that I'm drawing here. Now, this collection may be called Fall Winter, but most of the collection, aside from a few puffer jackets, looked like a spring-summer collection. The color palette is very summery with summer linen, pops of hot pink, and skin-bearing articles of clothing. If you wore this in New York City in the dead of winter, you'd get hypothermia. But I think this fall-winter collection was made with folks in the South without cold months in mind. And as we're all currently staying indoors to flatten the curve, I was really drawn to this summery fall-winter collection to look forward to our emerging warmer months. Simone made the smart move of paring down his fashion collections to be more economical. He's made the decision to only have 2 collections a year and omit collections like resort and pre-fall. and he's made the decision to do more with less, limiting the variety of fabrics and focusing on doing more with a few choices of fabric, thus allowing him to purchase bigger quantities of a single type of fabric and having buying power for it. Do you guys remember when I mentioned the beige linen dress Simone made for his mom at the beginning of the video? Well, he opened the show with a beige linen pencil skirt, a display of homage. The beige linen is the main fabric for the collection and also sustainable. Simone was able to do this by leveraging his buying power and working with his fabric manufacturer to create custom sustainable fabric, something he hasn't been able to do before. Simone clearly states that this does not mean his brand identity is entirely green. Simone is quoted in Vogue saying, "It isn't just for ecology, it's also people. Their rhythm of work also has to have sense. I don't say I'm a green brand or anything like that. It's not marketing, but I think we have to think more like my grandparents did. Like, we have tomatoes in the garden, so we eat tomatoes." Basically, Simone is saying that his brand isn't entirely a green brand, but he's doing this because he thinks we should be resourceful and our actions should be more of a natural lifestyle choice. Be environmentally conscious about the way we make decisions in our everyday lives. And that is something I can get behind. Alright guys, on that note, what did you think of Jacquemus? And what brand would you like to see next? Comment down below. If you want to see more videos like this, give me a thumbs up. All supplies used are in the description box below.
Ask me how I do it, I just stick to the plan. Stick to the plan. Ask me how I do it, I just stick to the plan. Stick to the plan. Really, it ain't nothing to it, I just stick who I am.
Click here to see another video in this series. Or click here. Maybe you'll like this one. Subscribe for more videos every week and hit that bell icon for notifications. Thanks for watching.
There's nothing like living this dream of mine.